Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry we're a little bit late, but it is time and the place for the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District Number 1 Board Meeting of December 19th. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Agent.
Here.
Haney-Keith.
Here.
Stead.
Here.
All present.
I take a motion on the minutes from the prior meeting.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes from the September 26, 2023 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Agent.
Yes.
Haney-Keith.
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Moving into the agenda, we have a couple of resolutions and I believe presentations from staff. Thanks, David.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mr. Chair, members of the board, it's good to see you again, some of you for your final Harris Ranch meeting, so thank you. My name is David Hasegawa, and I am the administrator for the district. As you mentioned, today's agenda will have two procedural resolutions, a service agreement, which is to be amended between the city of Boise and the district itself, and then a prepayment resolution for the 2011 special assessment bonds. So excuse me, this first resolution would approve an amended service agreement between the city of Boise and the district. The primary purpose of that service agreement is to reimburse the city of Boise for the use of its staff in support of the district's operations. However, because the district does not have a funding mechanism to cover legal expenses, in 2021, a mechanism was added to this agreement to advance up to $250,000 of expenses. And that amount was increased in 2022 to $350,000. Currently, where we stand is that about $312,000 of that has been advanced, with another $27,000 that is pending. The amendment would increase the advance from that $350,000 maximum where it stands today up to $700,000. In order to cover the added costs associated with repaying the city for that advance, the repayment period would be extended from 14 years up to 20 years. Mechanically, the way that this works is that as the district pays its invoices, it can bundle those together and then submit a draw to the city. Each of those draws does accrue interest, and that will ultimately be repaid. The need for this is due to the fact that we currently have we have completed one lawsuit in Ada County District Court, and that has been appealed to the Idaho Supreme Court. In the meantime, a second lawsuit has been filed but is being stayed, and the district may have a third lawsuit occur should residents choose to challenge projects that are being brought forth for the board's consideration in January. In terms of approvals, because this is an agreement between both the district and the city, only one half of the approval would be done today, and that would be by the district. The other half would have to be done by city council. And so our goal is to bring that to city council in January after this, presuming the board does choose to approve this resolution today. That's my prepared remarks for this resolution. I'll stand for any questions.
Actually, Mr. Chair, I have a question. Can you just explain briefly why you touched on this for a second, but why can't the CID pay directly for the legal fees?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Chair, Board Member Stead, when the district was set up, it was set up with a administrative levy. So it's a small levy that currently is about $20,000 per year is collected. And so that levy was intended to cover all of the operational expenses of the district. When the statute and initial finances were put together, there was no plans made for expenses that would range in the hundreds of thousands, which is, as you can see on this slide, where we are when it comes to the the day-to-day, or the, not day-to-day, but the costs of the litigation expenses. And so in the 3-year period, we've seen, and actually less than 3 years, because the 2021 lawsuit was filed in December. So in approximately 2 years, we've hit about 312,000 of expenses. Part of the reason for the high cost of the expenses is the fact that we're in new territory, so this has not been litigated before. So being novel, it's an added challenge.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve HRCID 17 2023, a resolution approving the amended agreement by and between the city of Boise and the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District Number 1 for the provision of professional services to the Harris Ranch CID, authorizing the Harris Ranch CID Board President and District Clerk to execute and attest said agreement on behalf of the Harris Ranch CID and providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bajent,
Yes.
Haney-Keith,
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. And for our second resolution?
The second resolution is regarding a bond prepayment. If you recall, the board or the district has 2 types of bonds: general obligation bonds and special assessment bonds. All of the district's bonds have reserve accounts and that bond buyers require us to carry in case there is insufficient funds to pay for a bond. As the outstanding amount of a bond increases, the reserve requirements decrease. And so that allows the bond trustee to actually transfer funds from the reserve account into a prepayment account. And so as things stand, we currently have approximately 78,000 in that prepayment account that is available to prepay the bond, and it will be used to prepay outstanding principal, which will result in interest savings to the district, a small amount. And so this resolution would allow for the district to move forward with that prepayment.
Thank you, David. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution HRCID 18 2023, resolution for the Board of Directors of the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District Number 1, authorizing the prepayment of its special assessment bonds, Series 2011, in the principal amount of up to $90,000 and providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bajent,
Yes.
Haney-Keith,
Yes.
Stead.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
We have no executive session, so I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.